Welcome everyone to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh for what is being called one of the most anticipated home games in recent memory for the Pittsburgh Panthers as they take on the Clemson Tigers. Pittsburgh 5-1, ranked number 23 in the country and in control of the Coastal Division of the ACC at the moment. The only undefeated team on that side in conference play at 2-0. Dabo Swinney and Clemson trying to win the ACC for the 7th straight year, but they have work to do. They're looking up at Wake Forest and NC State on their side of the ACC standings. Hi everybody, welcome. Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Delighted to have you with us. When we visited with Pat Narduzzi yesterday, Todd, we talked about this game. We asked him, you've won a lot of games, but is this game a chance to perhaps change the narrative about your program, take a big step forward? He said yes, this would be a statement win. He believes he has the team to do it.
Yeah, he does, and I appreciated his honesty in admitting it was that kind of game. This is a season-defining, program-defining kind of win. And they've got a chance to knock off the team that's been the bully in the ACC, right? There's great energy here. They've got to capitalize. If they're going to do that, it's going to be because their leader, senior quarterback Kenny Pickett, is leading the charge. He has played at an elite level this year since making the decision to come back. Accuracy, decision-making, 21 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and taking great care of the football. And that is what he did not do when they lost to these Clemson Tigers a year ago in Death Valley.
Clemson a surprising 4-2. We spoke with Dabo Swinney yesterday. He said there's nothing less important than the halftime score. They're at the halfway point of the season. He thinks they could still get into the college football playoff. That might be unrealistic. They certainly would have to win today. Still playing defense at a very high level.
Yeah, they've struggled mightily on offense for whatever reason, many reasons. The defense has been elite. And I'll tell you what, I was down the field before the game. They may not be playing like the Clemson we're used to, but they still look like Clemson. If Pitt's going to win this game today, they absolutely are going to have to earn it.
We'll see if they can get the offense going against the Panthers today. Enthusiastic crowd here at Heinz Field. Pittsburgh and Clemson, the kickoff in a moment. You're watching college football presented by Papa John's. And this is the ACC on ESPN from the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. First time Clemson has ever played Pittsburgh here. Down on the field with Dabo Swinney, here's Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Sean. Coach, what does your offense have to do to have the breakout performance you told us you've been waiting for?
Well, we got to take care of the ball. We got to make the routine plays, and we're going to have to make more competitive plays than we've made all year today.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You got it.
Clemson won the toss and deferred. So Pittsburgh elected to take the opening kickoff in front of a boisterous crowd, expected to be in the high 50,000s. Temperature in the low 50s, not much of a breeze. It's expected to get up into the mid 50s, and it'll remain cloudy throughout the day. Jalen Barden back deep for Pitt. And B.T. Potter with a big leg will kick off for Clemson. 19 of his 24 kickoffs this season have gone for touchbacks, and we're underway. Returnable for Barden from the 5. He's in trouble, slips down, and lost the football, it seemed, at the 15-yard line. They got it back. So here comes Kenny Pickett, emerging as a Heisman Trophy candidate, making his 43rd career start today. What a season he's having. 21 touchdown passes, just 1 interception. A QBR of 88.4. Only C.J. Stroud and Cam Rising have been better. And he plays with an edge. As he says, it's the only way to play. Not only an excellent passer, but he'll put his head down and run. 18 career rushing touchdowns for the 5th-year senior from Oakhurst, New Jersey. Hands it off to Taysir Mack, wide receiver, coming around from left to right. He got near the 20-yard line for a gain of 4.
He made a decision to come back for another year. Talked to a lot of people. Great move.
He throws short to Jordan Addison. He's their leading receiver. And second in the country in touchdown catches with 9. Just a sophomore from Frederick, Maryland. And Kenny Pickett told us yesterday he asked a lot of people, was told at best he'd be a 4th-round pick if he was in the most recent draft, but maybe even a 6th or 7th-round pick. He said, I don't think of myself that way. Movement prior to the snap looked like Pittsburgh guilty of a false start.
Number 7, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Jeff Flanagan, the referee. And Kenny Pickett talked to Peyton Manning. He knows Peyton Manning from his appearances. Kenny's at the Manning Academy, their camp in the summer in Louisiana. And Peyton Manning said to him, well, how do you view yourself? And he said, I don't think of myself as a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick. So back he came, and what a great decision it has been for him personally and for this very talented Pittsburgh team. Pickett's in trouble and swung down. Back at the 15 by Trenton Simpson, the linebacker.
Well, it's a 6-man protection. They kept the back in, and initially Kenny Pickett's going to have good time. Credit the Clemson pass coverage. It was zone coverage. It was not man-to-man. And they're able to get to him. Simpson there, an extra linebacker on the rush. And Clemson gets the turnaround on 3rd down.
These two teams annually among the national leaders in sacks. Kirk Christodoulou, the punter, the Australian. And a fair catch made by Will Brown. An excellent field position for DJ Uiagalelei, the Clemson quarterback, who started last year at Notre Dame, threw for 439 yards, the most ever given up by the Irish to any quarterback. And with Trevor Lawrence now in the NFL, he is clearly the starter. Got off to a very rough start. That can happen when you play Georgia in the opener. Coach Sweeney said he was in a funk, but he's had his 2 best games the last 2 weeks against Boston College and Syracuse. They open in the pistol. Kobe Pace was the running back. It goes out wide instead, and shot down immediately was Bo Collins by Marquez Williams, one of the Pittsburgh corners.
Clemson going with a little tempo here. No huddle. Take a look at some of the receivers missing from this Clemson offense today.
Joseph Ngata out. Frank Ladson also out, but they get Will Shipley back at running back. There's a nice move down the sideline by Bo Collins, the true freshman from Los Angeles out of John Bosco High School, where he was 2 years a teammate of DJ Uiagalelei. Gain of 10 yards on the play. And a Clemson 1st down in Pitt territory at the 44-yard line. They line up with Braden Galloway in the game. And a false start.
Well, see, those are the kind of penalties that are really going to hurt you, because you're 3rd and 1, and now with the penalty, you're 3rd and 6. And that penalty, as much as anything, is attributed to this Pitt crowd, a very raucous crowd. They got here early, they were outside the stadium, and that noise caused the false start. And Clemson had a similar problem like this on the road in their loss to North Carolina State.
That was a mistake, and Bo Collins did not get the 1st down. Instead of 3rd and 1, it's back to 3rd down and 6, 3 minutes in. Pittsburgh rushed 5. Uiagalelei way too high over the head of Bo Collins, with a safety, Eric Hallett, in coverage. Well, the offense has been shockingly bad. Dabo Sweeney's team averaging 20.5 points per game, but if you take out the 49 against South Carolina State, not an FBS opponent, they're averaging fewer than 15 points per game against their FBS opponents.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, and the biggest reason it's been a struggle is no big plays. It's too hard to play offense when you don't have big plays.
Will Spires the punt, and a good one. Fair catch made by Jalen Barden inside the 10. Coverage above Heinz Field provided by Goodyear. With you for every mile on the road to greatness. Goodyear, more driven. Here's the view from the AT&T 5G Skycam. Don't forget to check out the AT&T 5G Skycast. Streaming live on ESPN3 and on the ESPN app. Each team's had it once. Each team has punted. Kenny Pickett and Pitt from its own 9-yard line. Play action pass. Pickett out of his own end zone. And too high, intended for Lucas Krull, the tight end. Pittsburgh, the second highest scoring team in the country, behind only Ohio State, and just barely behind the Buckeyes, average 48.5 per game. And Clemson giving up 12.5 points per game. Only Georgia, the #1 team in the country, is better in scoring defense. On the draw, Vincent Davis, the ball carrier. Todd, in our experience, usually when it's strength against strength, it's the other side of the ball that wins the game. The Clemson offense or the Pitt defense.
Exactly right. And right now, I would give that edge to the Pitt defense. I think they, even though they lost a lot of guys in the NFL, they've played a little more consistently than that Clemson offense has so far through the first 6 games of the year.
We had a quick look at the coordinators on this side of the ball. Mark Whipple calling the plays for Pitt. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator for the Tigers. They need a lot of run after the catch. Melky Stovall, a transfer from Hawaii, and he didn't get to the first down marker. Came up about 5 yards short. Jalen Phillips there for Clemson.
Interesting, the first 2 third down plays of the game, Brent Venables, defensive coordinator, rather than going after Kenny Pickett with pressure, dropped into zone coverage, just a 4-man rush. This is the best quarterback that they have faced. Now, Devin Leary from North Carolina State played well against them, but Kenny Pickett has played elite, and I'm curious how much they will try to pressure him or play coverage.
Kirk Christodoulou punts again. Better kick this time. Fair catch made by Will Brown as he backpedaled near the 35-yard line. Well, for the last decade, Clemson, one of the best, winningest programs in the country. The offense doing more than its fair share over that decade. Nearly 500 yards per game of offense, but this season 322 yards per game. 115th in the country, and as we chronicled earlier, 20.5 is 113th in scoring. And they come into this one having scored 21 or fewer in 4 straight games for the first time since 1998. And that's a big reason why right there. Braden Galloway dropped the ball. When we spoke with Dabo and Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator, they said either drop passes or inaccurate passes have been a big problem.
Yeah, they've averaged between 4 and 6 drop passes a game. Galloway did not play last week. He got a concussion in the Boston College game. This is his first game back and not able to make a catch on his first attempt.
2nd and 10. Panthers were showing blitz. Uiagalelei takes off running. Nice cut. And a first down into Panther territory to the Pitt 48-yard line. A run of 15 for DJ Uiagalelei.
He is a north and south runner, which means he doesn't beat you to the sideline, but he does have some shiftiness for a big guy and can make some people miss. That was just a good decision. He wanted to throw quick, thought the blitz was coming. Pitt faked it out, and he made it a good decision to run the ball.
Here's Will Shipley, the talented true freshman out of North Carolina. Missed the last couple of games with a knee issue. And he got ahead for just a couple. Stopped by Servassier Dennis. Terrific linebacker for Pitt, who'll play all 3 of their linebacker spots today.
The guy Clemson's got to get going early is Justin Ross right here. He's been pressing a little bit. He's had a lot of drops, but he is the most talented guy they have.
Here's Shipley again. Good cut, and he stumbled across the 40-yard line. It looked like he had much more to gain, but he just tripped and fell with barely enough for the first down.
Yeah, the little stretch play. He saw some daylight and cut it inside and just got tripped up, or that was probably going to the house.
Well, you were on the field before the game. You made the point about this surface.
Yeah, it's not the strongest grass. It's a little loose. It's a little higher than I'm sure Clemson is used to at home in South Carolina.
It is new within the last few weeks, we're told. Uiagalelei, deep ball broken up, intended for Bo Collins, And Brandon Hill, the safety, saved the touchdown.
Well, the ball was thrown over the opposite shoulder where the receiver thought it was going to be, and it hung in the air. It was underthrown, and that allowed the safety Hill to get there and make the play. If the ball is thrown out towards the goal line, they probably have a touchdown.
You will have chances to make big plays against Pitt. They play a lot of man-to-man coverage. Here's Will Brown. Good run after the catch, and he spins ahead for a first down.
That is what Clemson has been missing on offense also, is the little slot type receiver that they've always had. They've had some injuries, and to see Will Brown now make a play like that's a big part of what Clemson's pass offense has been over the years. They've tried to play Justin Ross in the slot. He's not really comfortable there. That was a good sign for Clemson's offense, that play.
First catch of the season for the graduate student, Will Brown. After the run fake, it's intercepted. Picked off by Damari Mathis. And he runs it back to the 20, tackled by Davis Allen.
Defensive coordinator Randy Bates told us, we like to play a lot of man. We get kind of handsy. How they officiate the game is a big deal for us. They let him get away with the contact, and Mathis comes away with the turnover.
ESPN College Football is delivered by the Shakaroni from Papa John's. Pizza with a purpose. Order today. And in part by Cheez-It. Cheesy, crunchy satisfaction.
This crowd fired up after the interception by Damari Mathis, his second of the season. Big contrast to the meeting between these two teams at Clemson last year when Kenny Pickett was intercepted 3 times on his first 9 passes. Yeah. And Clemson had a 31-0 lead after the first quarter. High snap. Pickett got it down. Gave it to Israel Abanikanda, an emerging force at running back, coming off the best game of his career, 140 yards last week in Blacksburg in their win against Virginia Tech. And they're going consistently up tempo at the start of this game. Nearly midway through the first quarter, no score.
Whether that's not a normal part of Pitt's MO, it is when you play Clemson, because Brent Venables is a defensive coordinator that likes to wait as long as he can to make a call. He wants to get the perfect defense to stop every play, and sometimes that makes his defense susceptible to tempo.
That hasn't helped the Pitt offense yet. They haven't had a first down. Can they convert on 3rd and 2? Pickett. He's a good runner, as we told you, and he dives for the first down.
See, that is that quote that we had in the open, that you got to play with a little chip. It's not there. He's a good scrambler. He's particularly good when he scrambles to his right, and he just outruns Skowski to the marker for the first down. I mean, those are two players that play the game exactly the same way. They both have a linebacker mentality. It's just one of them's a quarterback.
Abanikanda, sophomore out of Brooklyn, New York. He was the Gatorade New York State High School Player of the Year at Abraham Lincoln High School in 2019. R.J. Mickens took him down. That game last week against the Hokies, his first career 100-yard rushing game. It has been impressive, back-to-back 20-point-plus wins in conference play at Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. The pass deflected and almost intercepted off the hands of Mario Goodrich, who had 2 of those interceptions of Kenny Pickett last year in Death Valley.
He was trying to get the ball to Addison, who was the second receiver out there, and Goodrich able to get up and get a hand on the football. Again, when Kenny Pickett scrambles to his right, he's very effective throwing the football, much different than when he scrambles to his left.
They bring a blitz. He throws over the middle, and it's caught for a first down. Jared Wayne, the receiver, junior from Peterborough, Ontario, swung down by Tyler Venables.
One of the things Kenny Pickett said he wanted to work on, his pocket footwork and presence, his poise in the pocket and throwing the deep ball. Right there you saw poise in the pocket. Here's a tackle over now formation. Unbalanced line for Pitt.
Pickett flushed backwards by a blitz by Mario Goodrich and forced to throw it away. Well-timed blitz by Brent Venables.
When Pitt does this, they take their left tackle, Carter Warren, they move him over to the right side, and then this guy right here is a tight end or a wide receiver. Clemson was not fooled by the formation. Pitt will throw or run out of it. Normally you think if they put 3 linemen to one side, they're going to run, but Pitt will do both.
Abanikanda dropped for a loss. Excellent penetration by Trey Williams, the freshman from Windsor, Connecticut.
Yeah, he just whipped the guard, Marcus Minor. Great quickness into the backfield. Again, this is a defense that is missing some guys, an offense that's missing some guys, but they have recruited so well. One good thing for Clemson, Tyler Davis, number 13, is back in the ball game. He has been out for a long time right there. One of the real leaders on the interior of this Clemson defense.
This time after surgery for a torn bicep. Pickett again pressured and throws incomplete. Trying to get it to Lucas Krull. And Tyler Venables had the coverage. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, Dabo Sweeney told me pregame that Tyler Davis was cleared to play by doctors just this Wednesday night. He said Davis was chomping at the bit to get back out on the field. He brings confidence with his leadership and experience, and he said he's one of the best players on this team and one of the most savvy players, so he brings a huge confidence boost.
They're still without Brian Brzee, maybe their best defensive player, defensive lineman, who's out for the year with an ACL injury. Christodoulou's punt goes into the end zone. Crowd thought they'd get it close to the goal line, but they couldn't rescue it. And Clemson will start from the 20. The defense rose up, and we're still scoreless. Under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Not much offense so far here at Heinz Field. 46 total yards for Clemson. 32 for Pittsburgh. No score, just under 5 minutes to go. Opening quarter. DJ Uiagalelei all the way to the 38-yard line for a gain of 18.
We take a look at DJ. A couple throws early. You talk about making the common play. 3rd and 6. Take the quick route. Don't throw the deep one against double coverage. And then on the interception, it's just a ball that he's got to place to the outside, away from the defender. Just a couple errant positions of the ball, but that was a good run to start this drive.
His runs have been their best offense. Phil Maffa, freshman running back, gets the carry to the 45-yard line.
Here's the interception. This ball has to be thrown to the outside, away from the defender, to give your receiver a chance. Dabo told Molly, we've got to make the routine plays. That first play was a routine play. He went the wrong place with the ball, and we have to make competitive plays. That's tight throws against tight man coverage. Receiver and quarterback on the same page.
After the run fake out wide, it goes to Bo Collins, and he's dumped immediately by Marquez Williams, redshirt junior from Pompano Beach, Florida.
This Pitt defense is very aggressive, a lot of man coverage, eyes right on the play. That was Marquez Williams, read the quarterback, saw the quick throw, made a quick break up, and brings up another 3rd down situation for Clemson. They're 0 for 1 on 3rd down so far in the ballgame.
And 11th in the conference on 3rd down. Clemson at 38%, 3rd down and 6.
Davis Allen, a big target, number 84.
It's a deep ball, and it is caught. Joe runs under it. And a rare big play of 20 yards plus for Clemson this season. That's 34 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, only their 13th play like that. Now, this is a perfect throw. Out over the outside shoulder. Your receiver had a step on the defender. Ball placement was perfect that time by DJ.
Maffa couldn't break free from a leg tackle. Well, it was shocking when we looked at the numbers, the lack of big plays for Clemson on offense. 128th in the country with now 13 plays of 20 plus. Only Colorado and Rice have had fewer plays of 20+ than Tony Elliott's offense.
And again, offensive football is too hard. You're not going to put together 12 and 13 play drives against good defenses. You've got to have chunk plays.
They caught Pitt in a corner blitz. Justin Ross fighting to try to get to the end zone. Brandon Hill wouldn't let go, but it is to the 5-yard line and 1st and goal for Clemson.
Well, it was a good read. It was a corner blitz. That's the quarterback and the wide receiver being on the same page. They were both able to make the adjustment. And a 1st down and goal situation for Clemson. Got to be prepared for DJ running the football in this part of the field as well.
Pittsburgh just did get their defenders off the field, down to the goal line, and short of it is Will Shipley. It'll be 2nd and goal from about 6 inches out. Phil Campbell made the tackle for the Panthers, coached by Pat Narduzzi.
Really good double team as you take a look at the replay on the progressive pylon cam. Double team by Jordan McFadden and Mac Bockhorst on the left side, and Shipley got right in behind there and almost got that ball to the goal line. You can see his knee down before the ball crossed the plane.
65, Matt Bockhorst.
And the injured players, Matt Bockhorst. We talked to Dabo Sweeney and Tony Elliott about other reasons why the offense has had a tough go of it. Injuries, inconsistency on the offensive line. Bockhorst, one of their best, really an emotional leader. 2nd-year starter at guard out of Cincinnati, St. Xavier High School, where he was an Under Armour All-American. They've had 3 different starting left guards this year, including Bockhorst. Tonight, Saturday Night Football, a Big Ten battle in Bloomington. Heisman hopeful quarterback C.J. Stroud leading the number 5 and rising Ohio State Buckeyes against Indiana. That's at 7:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. The Buckeyes have won 25 in a row against Indiana. Well, how do you size up C.J. Stroud as a Heisman Trophy contender? Most people think Bryce Young is the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Yeah, and he's played the part, you know, and he also plays on a great football team. They're not the number 1 team anymore, but they're still a great team. I think Stroud has played very well. I think the next month will really go a long way in determining C.J. Stroud, because in the Big Ten East, all those top teams play each other here in the next couple weeks. And I think that's when you really, to me, as a Heisman voter, I want to see how guys play in big games. That's what I put more credence in anything. So like a game like this today for Kenny Pickett is huge. You know, I think he's played at an elite level, but when you play on a stage like this against a team like Clemson, if you play well, that gets people's attention across the country.
That does not look good for Bockhorst and Clemson. They've had 8 different offensive linemen start games this year. Mentioned 3 different starting left guards, 3 different starting centers, 2 different starting right guards through the first 6 games of this season. Mason Trotter, the center, didn't play a snap until last week. On 2nd and goal, it's a touchdown with ease. Phil Maffa. And Clemson is first on the board. On the first career touchdown for the freshman from Loganville, Georgia.
Ran right behind the replacement left guard. Marcus Tate, number 74, came into the ball game to replace Bockhorst. And Maffa ran right behind him. Good push up front. And Clemson on the board first. A couple nice throws and reads by DJ Uiagalelei on that drive.
P.T. Potter adds the extra point. Maffa out of Grayson High School in Georgia, the same school that has sent several players to Clemson, including Wayne Gallman, the fine running back, who moved on to the New York Giants. And the Tigers first on the board, trying to get the offense going. And as you said, Todd, when you make big plays, as they did on that drive with a 34-yard catch by Ajo, it's a lot easier to march down the field. What a topsy-turvy year it's been in the ACC. Clemson, North Carolina, Miami, all the top 14 in the preseason rankings. None of them in the top 25 in the Associated Press right now. But how about Wake Forest, NC State, and Pittsburgh? Wake Forest won at Army today, scored 70 points. They're still undefeated, so they'll likely move up. They play Clemson, what will be a very important game, you would suspect, on November 20th. That is in Winston-Salem. I should point out that Clemson is ranked in the coaches poll, but unranked in the AP poll. They're 24 in the coaches. Touchback by BT Potter, and here's Matt Berry.
Okay, Sean, time now. Rocket Mortgage Studio update. Speaking of ranked in both polls is Oregon, but they are already down at the Rose Bowl. DTR to Casimir Allen, 14-0 Bruins in the first quarter. By the way, Penn State, Illinois, 8 overtimes. Blackledge, what do you got on that?
You better have a bunch of two-point plays now. Better have some new creative ones. My goodness.
Pass in the flat off the hands of Vincent Davis. Dangerously so, as Sheridan Jones was in the area for Clemson.
Yeah, Sheridan Jones, if he'd have known where the football was, he might have made a play on the ball. The ball had some hot sauce on it coming out to the back.
Pickett now just 3 out of 8. That ball is a juggling catch by Gavin Bartholomew. He's the backup tight end. They have two very solid tight ends. Mark Whipple said last year we didn't have any tight ends we could throw the ball to.
Yeah, I like both these guys. Bartholomew, a true freshman, small school over in Pennsylvania. Lucas Kroll is a grad transfer from Florida, really good pass catcher, both big bodies, and they give versatility to this offense.
11-yard gain, under a minute to go in the opening quarter. Pickett on target to the 40-yard line, a gain of 4 on a completion to Jordan Addison.
We talked to Dabo Swinney. I mean, he was raving about Kenny Pickett, just says the game looks slow to him. He says he's a real rhythm passer. We've got to affect him. A couple of those third down plays in earlier drives, they were able to affect him. Those last couple throws, rhythm throws by Kenny Pickett.
They're finding success over the middle to the running back Vincent Davis there, swung down by Skalski, but forward progress to the 49-yard line of Pitt, and another Panther first down.
See, one of the things that Brent Venables has to weigh, if I pressure and leave guys in man-to-man, they've got a lot of weapons all over the field. This empty backfield, they've got a lot of matchups.
Over the middle again. Kroll has the ball knocked out. And it looks like Clemson has it at the 35-yard line. Nolan Turner popped the ball out on the catch by Kroll.
This is the kind of matchup you want. You want Kroll working on the safety. Turner, it's a good throw and catch. Turner just doesn't give up on the play and knocks it out.
And E.T. Rubin, the recovery for Clemson.
Remember in that game last year, there was 5 Pitt turnovers in the ball game, 4 interceptions and a fumble. As you mentioned, the game was pretty much over after 1 quarter when Clemson jumped out to a big lead. There's another big turnover.
Pat Narduzzi's hollering at the officials. He thought it was an incomplete pass and that this should be reviewed, but it's not going to happen. Clemson with the ball and a 7-point lead. Kobe Pace, running room outside, lowers his shoulder and gets a first down on the last play of the first quarter. Dabo Swinney said recently he feels like the offense is starting to find its rhythm. It has here late in the first quarter.
Here in Pittsburgh, where Clemson offensive lineman Matt Bockhorst was just carted off the field with ice on his right knee, and when he tried to put weight on his right leg, he yelled out in pain, couldn't walk on his own. And Sean, you mentioned coaches say he is the heartbeat of this Clemson offense.
A vocal leader. They said sometimes they have to talk to him about refining his delivery. Give you a little too passionate and direct with some of his teammates. DJ Uiagalelei Ducks ahead for 2. And they're up to 75 yards rushing just one play into the second quarter.
Well, they felt that Boston College and Syracuse, they finally have got some consistency in their run game, and that is opening up opportunities in the pass game. Now, in the past at Syracuse, they didn't capitalize on those opportunities throwing the ball. Today, they've hit a couple good plays off this run game.
Kobe Pace, the running back, he took the handoff and got stacked up at the 50-yard line. Chase Pine, first there for Pittsburgh, playing in his 52nd career game. They have 13 super seniors, 6th-year players.
And a big third down opportunity for the Pitt defense right now. They can create some pressure. Probably going to get some kind of man underneath.
Four receivers, 2 to each side for Uyunglele. Pressure up the middle. He got it off, but it wasn't well timed with Justin Ross.
They threw that one well before Justin Ross was out of his break, which is okay if you put it right on the guy, but that ball was thrown to the sideline and Ross never had a chance.
Here's Will Spires to punt it away to Jalen Barden. 5th year as the starting punter for Spires, his 63rd career game. And another good kick and a fair catch at the 11. Here's Matt Berry.
Gentlemen, it's gone final. 9 overtimes. Brandon Peters, first action since week 0. Casey Washington back in the end zone. Ball game. Illinois upsets Penn State in Happy Valley 20-18.
Well, we'll let you ponder that about your alma mater. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh did not score in the first quarter. Didn't score in the fourth quarter, Virginia Tech, but they were nursing a big lead. They really were just trying to run out the clock. Here's their biggest play so far. Israel Abanikanda out to the 35-yard line, a 24-yard run.
Very patient runner. I mean, he's got great speed, but he still has patience to wait behind the blocks and make people miss. Nice run to start this drive for Pittsburgh. They need a couple chunk plays in their offense.
4-man rush. Pickett stepped into that throw on target to Jordan Addison. He's thrown down at the 40-yard line of Clemson by Andrew Mukuba, the freshman safety.
Nice job by Taysir Mack, number 11, in that bunch formation, kind of clearing out the defense. He ran the deep route, and Addison kind of ran the in route behind him, and Kenny Pickett found him for a big play. That's the 2 biggest plays now that Pitt has had in the ball game, back to back.
That pass was 25 yards. Pickett to Addison. Pickett running out of time, throws it away. Mukuba came on the blitz. True freshman out of Austin, Texas, who started in the season opener against Georgia. They lost Landon Sanders, who they thought might be a starter at preseason shoulder surgery. No big deal because this guy's been terrific.
He has been, and they play with so much with safeties. A lot of times 3 safeties. Like right now, they've got 3 safeties in the ball game.
Abanikanda stopped at the 37-yard line, led by James Skalski.
You got Nolan Turner, Mukuba, and Tyler Venables that are in there together as safeties. They've got to be good in the run support in this defense, but they also are going to be called on to play man-to-man coverage. You got to have a lot of versatility to play in this defense Brent Venables has.
Wonder if this might be 4-down territory for Pittsburgh. Here comes a safety blitz. Pickett is taken down back at the 45-yard line. Balin Spector, the linebacker, blitzing. Effectively so.
Well, the back has to choose between 2 guys that are coming, and he makes the choice to take one, but that left Balin Spector with a straight line to the quarterback, and Kenny Pickett had nowhere to go. Sean, I think you're right. I think it may have been 4-down territory if they don't have the loss of yardage play there on 3rd down. Now they have to punt it.
Dabo Coleslow's linebacker, Skalski and Spector, the Bruise brothers. Now 1.5 sacks on the year for Spector. Christodoulou punts again, and this time they do down it inside the 2, and a big roar from the crowd after they failed to do it at the other end of the field. Trey Tipton was there. Excellent work by the Pitt special teams as you look at it from the progressive pylon camera. Clemson leads 7-0. This possession starts from the Tigers 2 at the student section end of the field. Oyungolele went under center, handed it off to Will Shipley, who got belted after a pickup of 3.
This Pitt defense on 1st and 2nd down, I mean, they don't try to fool you. I mean, this press quarters coverage that Pat Narduzzi ran when he was the defensive coordinator of Michigan State, here again, they press on the outside, they come downhill with the linebackers to stop the run.
DJ throws, and a juggling catch made, very nearly another drop. But Bo Collins able to take it in for a Clemson 1st down.
And these are the players that have the most pressure in this defense. It's the safeties. That's Eric Hallett, who's in coverage on a slot receiver in man-to-man, but he's coming from 10 yards deep. That's the most pressure is on the 2 safeties in this defense.
Shipley tripped up and again frustrated as there was more there for him. If he could have gotten away from Keyshawn Camp, it was an excellent defensive tackle. It was a question mark all week with an ankle injury, but he's in there toughing it out today.
I talked to CJ Spiller, the running backs coach on the field before the game, and I said, tell me about Shipley. He says, well, I can't tell him this yet, but he's really going to be special. If he keeps doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's going to be really something else.
Coming from a guy who was very special himself, CJ Spiller, now coaching the running backs at his alma mater. Davis Allen the catch for the Tigers, and that gets them another 1st down. They move from their own 2 out to the 26, under 10 minutes to go in the half, and the Tigers an underdog in ACC play for the first time in 48 games, leading 7-0. DJ tried to pull it down and run again. Not that time. He had done that successfully a couple of times already, but Dayon Hayes there to stop any forward momentum.
Yeah, this is definitely a called quarterback run. You can tell that because Shipley is leaving the backfield to go block, but the pocket, everything just collapsed. Good penetration into the backfield by Hayes, and Pitt gets a negative yardage play on 1st down.
Shipley, 1st down.
Wow.
Loaders head at the end of the run. They follow the lead blocking of Davis Allen, the tight end, John Patrician, the tackle.
Watch this. It looks like he's coming all the way across, and he's going to circle back and block at the point of attack. They pull the backside guard and the tight end. They get the flow of the Pitt defense going one way, and Shipley cuts it back with good speed and burst for the 1st down.
Dabo said they have been getting the running game going, and it's continuing again today. Uyunglele, it's dropped. And when you talk about why don't they have more big plays, there it is. Another drop.
Yep.
That would have been not only an explosive play, this one would have been a touchdown by Shipley.
The number 3 receiver on the inside. He's working against a backup defensive back, the star linebacker, Petroshin, and he beats him badly. And you can't throw the ball any better than DJ did right there. And Dabo has seen that too many times this season already. Perfect play call.
Pitt brought a blitz. Bo Collins out wide. And they'll mark him out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
Well, even if Clemson doesn't get any points out of this drive, the fact that they've moved from outside of their own 2 with the way their defense has played all year, You are flipping the field and playing to the strength of your team, which is their defense.
Third down and 4. Tigers at their own 44, leading 7-0. Oyunglele short set and an incomplete pass. Tried to jam it into Davis Allen. He was surrounded. They're well aware of his presence after Allen had 8 catches last week at Syracuse.
He was surrounded, but he could have put the ball on his numbers for the first down. It just was not a real accurate throw by DJ, and the Pitt defense gets the hold. They dodged the bullet with the drop by Shipley, and now they'll get the ball back for their offense.
Spires to punt. He executed a fake punt at Syracuse last week, completed a 17-yard pass on 4th and 5. Great catch by Davis Allen. Martin nowhere to go. Tried to return that one, but no yardage on the return of a 45-yard punt.
Well, DJ put the money on the ball, on the money on this one. Shipley not able to make the catch, and Dabo says, not again.
Taco Bell welcomes you to the Live Más Student Section of the Year contest. Use hashtag Student Section Sauce to get the committee's attention. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. One of the differences here at Pitt, this is not an on-campus facility. Campus in Oakland. Used to play at Pitt Stadium at the top of that hill. Now they play at Heinz Field, which they share with the Pittsburgh Steelers. On first down, Vincent Davis ahead for just a couple.
Well, this game is really, for Pitt's offense going about the way we thought. I mean, we knew this was going to be the best defense that they faced, right, with Clemson. One of the best scoring defenses in college football. They've got speed, they've got talent. Mark Whipple, offensive coordinator, knew it's going to be a 4-quarter type of game.
Ooh. Jacques Louis got knocked around, managed to keep moving forward and hang on to the ball, and he got close to the first down marker. They'll need 1 here on third down, and they go quickly again. Vincent Davis, the running back, and he has the first down across the 20. But we wondered about the Pitt stats. They clearly have a very good offense, but the scoring that we mentioned, second in the country at 48.3 per game, certainly largely a product of 77 against New Hampshire and 51 against UMass.
Yeah, last week 28 in Blacksburg on a windy day was their lowest output.
Corner blitz by Booth, who's back in action today after missing last week. Deep ball, and Addison could not run under it with Nate Wiggins in coverage, a freshman from Atlanta, matched up against one of the best receivers in the country, Jordan Addison.
Nice job by the back picking up that corner blitz. That allowed Kenny Pickett to go ahead and launch that ball and give Addison a chance. Just a slight overthrow.
Pickett now 9 out of 16 for 89 yards. The run on 2nd and 10 yields nothing. Vincent Davis again.
Just really like these inside linebackers of Clemson. Skalski and Spector share the team lead in tackles, both hard-nosed guys. That time Skalski on a run blitz got in the backfield for the stop.
Pickett, a beautiful set and throw. The completion for a first down to Jared Wayne.
See, find your matchup. Where can I go? Let's go against a linebacker with a wide receiver. That was what they had. Jared Wayne was the inside receiver, matched up against Barrett Carter, a freshman linebacker, and that's a matchup that favors the offense.
Second catch for Wayne, 23rd of the year, second most on their team. Nice move by Vincent Davis as he got close to the first down. Danced away from Jalen Phillips for a gain of 8.
You go empty set, you put the ball in your quarterback's hands, and you let him find the matchups. You spread this defense out,
Pickett threw it over the head of his intended receiver, Melky Stovall. We spoke with Pat Narduzzi yesterday about Kenny Pickett. Pat was an assistant at Michigan State, defensive coordinator, when they had Kirk Cousins. And Pat said, I love Kirk Cousins, but I think Kenny Pickett is a better player than Kirk Cousins. There's Mark D'Antonio, who was the head coach at Michigan State, here to cheer on his great friend Pat Narduzzi today. His second year in retirement for the great job he did with Sparty. Pickett runs for the first down. On 3rd and 2, he got 3. His parents are here, as they always are. Dad Ken on the right of your screen, Mom Casey. Big part of his decision to come back for another year. They realized it was the right thing to do.
He is really a good short yardage runner. I mean, that was a designed run, but on quarterback sneaks, I mean, he is a physical kid and very effective in short yardage runs.
Under 4.5 to go till halftime. Clemson leading 7-0. Pickett has Addison open, and he hangs on at the 27-yard line. He got hit hard in the air by Jalen Phillips, but it's a 28-yard play, and Addison injured on the play.
Had 3 receivers to that side, and Kenny Pickett saw Addison, maybe got the ball to him a little bit late, but Addison, knowing he was going to take a shot, held on to the football.
Landed hard on his right arm. It looks from that view that maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Pickett zips one behind his intended receiver, Taysir Mack.
The tight end Kroll was the underneath receiver. Addison going down the sideline. Kenny Pickett got him the football. Clean hit, but took a shot on the back on his way to the ground.
Looks like he's still trying to catch his breath. They need him back out there. It's an important drive, and he's by far their leading receiver.
Timeout. Clemson.
And this timeout might actually help Pitt and by getting Addison back in the football game.
Clemson leading 7-0, but Pittsburgh in the midst of its best drive of the game so far, including 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. To reach the end zone, all you need is drive. Goodyear, more driven. Back in Pittsburgh, the Allegheny River, and there in Monongahela and Ohio rivers. There's Heinz Field. Saw the home of the Pittsburgh Pirates along the Allegheny as well. Here's a screen on 2nd and 10. Israel Banakanda. Not a lot there. And here comes another 3rd down, as we said, heading to break. They're 3 for 3 on 3rd down, and Jordan Addison returns to the game now for the Panthers. Pickett 13 for 22 for 142.
You have Addison on a safety right now.
Design roll to the right. Throwing on the run. Corner of the end zone. Addison beats the safety Turner for the touchdown.
First time by design, Mark Whipple has rolled Kenny Pickett out of the pocket, buying him a little time, allowed that deep route to open up, and a perfect strike on the move to Addison.
Oh, the extra point, no good. Sam Scarton rifled it off the upright. That's his 3rd missed PAT this season.
Offside.
There's a look at the touchdown. You can hear in the background the referee, Jeff Flanagan. They'll get another shot at the extra point because the Tigers were offside.
A beautiful throw by Kenny Pickett to Addison. Addison came back for that 3rd down play. Nice design. And now a second chance to tie the football game.
So Pickett's thrown 22 touchdown passes to 1 interception this year. Scarton. Still a little closer to that upright
penalty.
Pitt fans would like.
I think they were offsides again. I think they're lined up offsides.
Well, as close as that one was, I think Pat Narduzzi will say, we'll take the kick.
That penalty be declined. Point after is good.
And Addison, the touchdown catch, his 10th of the season, tied with Jalen Cropper of Fresno State for the national lead. We're tied at 7 with 3:18 to go in the half in Pittsburgh. Well, Kenny Pickett with 14 completions today now has 868 in his career, and he moves 1 ahead of Alex Van Pelt for the most completions in Pittsburgh history. And a lot more football still to be played for Pickett. Back in the studio, here's Matt Berry.
Okay, Sean, coming up with the Lexus halftime report. You mentioned history. We had that in Penn State and Illinois. What a finish we had there. Plus Oklahoma again. Needed a second half comeback. Caleb Williams against the star. And UCLA and Oregon. We've got a good one brewing in the Rose Bowl. Sam Acho, Joey Galloway join me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
We thought some of the top teams in the country, I believe 6 of the top 7 teams in the rankings were favored by 20 or more points today. Thought it might be a breeze for teams like Oklahoma and Penn State. It obviously was not. After the play fake, DJ Uiagalelei, a battle for the ball, and it's incomplete. Bo Collins wrestling with the safety Eric Hallett, and the ball hit the ground.
It's a good read by DJ and a good throw. He gave his receiver a chance. Just an excellent play by Hallett in man coverage on a slot receiver and knocks it out. Hallett's the guy that replaced probably the heart and soul of this defense a year ago. Damar Hamlin, the safety, a 4-year starter. And Hallett is a guy who's got to take that responsibility as the leader in the back end of this defense.
They had 5 defensive players drafted earlier this year in the NFL draft, including 2 All-American defensive ends. Here comes a blitz. And the pass off the hands of Joe. Tough catch. Well, they've had 2 blatant drops today, 15 for the year, including a ball that would have been a touchdown to Will Shipley.
Well, that ball had to come out when it did because Servassier Dennis was coming unblocked on a blitz to the inside. And DJ had to get rid of the football. This is the loudest this place has been today here on 3rd and 10.
And Pittsburgh has called a timeout.
Pittsburgh.
I don't think Pat was calling the timeout to make the crowd louder. As you said, it was clearly as loud as it's been all day.
You know, for DJ, last year in those 2 starts, he was unbelievable. This year, it's been a struggle. It's either been bad ball placement, not putting it where his receiver has the best chance to make the catch, or it's been a case of when he is accurate with the football, his receivers drop it. We've seen drops again today. It's been a consistent theme. This one would have been a touchdown, and it's just been that combination. Sometimes it's on the quarterback not putting the ball where it's supposed to be. Sometimes it's on the guy not catching the football.
Well, he stepped in as the starter last year when Trevor Lawrence tested positive for COVID-19. Memorable debut against Boston College. They were down by 18 points. He went 30 for 41 for 342. 2 touchdowns brought him back. Then the historic game we chronicled earlier in his second start against Notre Dame. And he has not picked off as a starter where he left off last year, and he's surrounded by Panthers. Puts it up for grabs and lucky to get away with it. Ross had inside position on Brandon Hill, but it was Hill who poked it away. And good pressure by the ends, Deslin Alexander and Haba Baldonado.
Yeah, he's very fortunate here because he just kind of threw this into double coverage. And very lucky that that one wasn't intercepted. Justin Ross able to at least knock the ball away and prevent an interception.
Will Spires to punt again. 3:03 to go in the half.
Pick that ball up.
A big mistake.
As low as the kick was, he had plenty of time to pick that up and get the ball upfield for at least 10 yards.
That's what Jake Cradle, the offensive lineman's telling him. They tossed themselves plenty of field position with the failure to pick that one up. It wound up as a 51-yard punt. Week 7 Monday Night Football. Alvin Kamara and the Saints in Seattle to take on DK Metcalf and the Seahawks. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. And we also would note that Peyton and Eli Manning return this week on ESPN2. Congratulations to Eli Manning being honored at Ole Miss today. Deservedly so. They put the name Manning in each end zone. Understandably so. Israel Abanikanda, the ball carrier. And he got 2. Each team with 2 timeouts left as we approach 2.5 minutes to go until halftime. 4 wide receivers for Kenny Pickett. Pass incomplete, and here comes a flag from center field for pass interference against Trenton Simpson, the linebacker covering the wide receiver Jared Wayne.
See, again, you go empty backfield with 5 guys out, and you find out, okay, who are the safeties covering?
Defense number 22. Penalty is an automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Who are the safeties covering, and who are the linebackers covering? Is it a wide receiver? I like that matchup if you're Kenny Pickett. If I have the protection, that's where I'm going with the ball.
Pickett spun away from the rush several times. Here comes the flag for a holding call as he spun away. That might help Dabo Swinney calm down a little bit. He didn't like the pass interference call.
10-yard penalty.
You got Carter Warren holding on Miles Murphy, number 98, a little inside move.
A far cry from a year ago when Kenny Pickett and Pittsburgh really struggled. They got annihilated, never in the game, down 31-0 at the end of the quarter at Clemson. Pat Narduzzi said, we're a much different team this year. They were without 3 starting offensive linemen last year. Abanikanda stacked up after a very short game. It's a veteran Pittsburgh team. I mean, this is the year if they are going to take that next step.
Yep. A lot of guys came back. You know, not just Kenny Pickett. A lot of other guys came back, having good seasons. Veteran leadership.
Good poise in the pocket and a drop. Oh boy! Oh my goodness! Abanikanda dropped it, and then Balin Spector dropped him.
It almost looks like Spector didn't know the ball came out. Like he felt he had to separate the ball from the defender. The ball was on the ground when he hit him. Now the question is it going to be called a targeting foul?
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 10 of the defense with targeting. The play is under further review.
Oh. Well, let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. It looked like the contact is into the right shoulder of Abanikanda. Matt, what do you think?
I agree with everything you just said. Originally, I thought it was definitely targeting, but I do think he got his shoulder low enough, got him in the chest. I would not be surprised. This should be overturned.
But it would still, could it still be a personal foul, right?
Oh, it's a late hit, no matter what.
It's a late hit.
Targeting.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, the 15 yards is no matter what, but he should be able to keep playing.
Right. I would agree with that too.
And that would be a huge loss if he can't. He's their leading tackler. He had 19 tackles in their loss at NC State, most under Dabo Swinney in his 14 years as head coach. Replay official is Jack Kramer, who made a really good tennis racket when I was a kid. Don't think it's the same Jack Kramer, who was also a great tennis player.
The replay official?
That's not the same Jack Kramer.
Okay.
We're pretty sure. I think the Jack Kramer I'm talking about is a little older.
Okay.
After further review, there was no targeting on the play. Number 10 may remain in the game. However, a dead ball personal foul penalty, 15 yards, will be enforced. First down.
Well, they definitely got that right. The unfortunate thing for Brent Venables now, it's 15 yards at the end of the play. It's a first down, 1:48 for Pitt, Kenny Pickett, and 2 timeouts. Remember, Clemson won the toss and deferred, so they'll get the ball to start the third quarter. Pitt would love to steal that momentum right here at halftime.
Only a 3-man rush brought by Brent Venables. Taysir Mack the catch. Another 60-year senior. He spent 2 years at Indiana. Now 4 at Pitt. He's 2.5 yards short of the first down. Their field goal kicking is a question mark. They've only tried 4 all year. Abanikanda, first down, shoved out by Nolan Turner, but in Tiger territory inside the 44-yard line.
Mark Whipple very comfortable and confident with his quarterback right now, spreading things out, letting him find matchups, and credit the front 5 of Pitt for giving him enough protection to throw the football.
Pickett, lots of running room, slides down at the 37. Perhaps they'll mark it back where he started the slide at the 38.
It was another 3-man rush. I got to expect that they're going to try to pressure Kenny Pickett here soon, because if you only rush 3 and give him time, he's going to find holes in your defense. Here they come.
He has plenty of time. He's on target, and the ball's dropped by Jalen Barden, with Mario Goodrich nearby for Clemson. Barden, who also cost them some field position, but he didn't scoop up that punt.
Interestingly, Addison not on the field again at this critical juncture of the football game.
Probably not in field goal range. Tentative rush, almost like they're spying Pickett. He throws, and that one could not be squeezed by Abanikanda, with Barrett Carter, freshman linebacker, in coverage.
Really good job by the linebacker Carter. He's out there in space with the running back. Kenny Pickett tried to throw a back shoulder.
They're going to go for it, it seems, on 4th down. 4th and 5.
And Addison is back on the field now. He's at the top of the screen, right there in the bunch formation.
Here comes pressure. Picked up nicely. Man wide open! Touchdown Pittsburgh! Taysir Mack, 39 yards on 4th down. Scarton for the extra point. He has to be a little shaken by what transpired the first time around. That one much closer to dead center. And Pittsburgh leads for the first time today with 40 seconds to go in the half.
Again, great formation. You've got 2 receivers right here. Now, this is a safety and this is a corner. And Kenny Pickett is going to read the matchup and say, I like my receiver on a linebacker, Barrett Carter, and you can see why. Taysir Mack easily beats him right at the beginning of the route. The protection is there. There's no safety help. And Kenny Pickett with the right decision of where to go with the football. We saw it earlier on the touchdown to Jordan Addison against a safety. That time it was Taysir Mack working on a linebacker, and Kenny Pickett gets his 2nd touchdown of the day.
helping his Heisman candidacy for sure. 218 yards passing and 2 touchdowns in the first half against the #2 scoring defense in the country. Clemson had allowed only 12.5 points per game. Pittsburgh with 14 here in the first half. Sam Sauls kicks off. Returnable for Will Shipley. Will Shipley room outside across the 30 and out of bounds at the 36-yard line. It was the kicker Ben Sauls who had to take him out. Kenny Pickett making history now, it seems, almost with every pass. He just moved past the great Trevor Lawrence for 5th most passing yards in a career in ACC history, up to 10,136. And if he stays healthy, he'll likely become #1 all-time at Pittsburgh and pass Alex Van Pelt. Of course, they weren't in the ACC when Alex Van Pelt played here in the late 80s and early 90s. DJ wants to throw it, and they want to throw him down. And finally they do. It's hard to get him on the ground. He's big Cinco at 6'4", 250, but Baldonado led the way for the sack.
And it looked like his eyes immediately went down to the rush on that play, Sean. The last couple throws, he has not looked like he trusts his protection, and he's not looking downfield at receivers. His eyes are down, seeing where the rush is coming from. Watch how his eyes kind of go down. Of course, you can't really see him, but you can tell he is not comfortable with what he thinks the protection is going to be.
If you're a quarterback and you play against these teams, you expect to be taken to the ground. Since 2019, these are the top 2 sack teams in the nation. Pittsburgh #1, Clemson 11 behind.
Part of the reason that both these teams get so many sacks is they play a lot of man coverage, so there's no real easy windows to throw. And so as a quarterback, you know, I'm not going to get the kind of separation. I've got to throw guys open some and anticipate breaks.
And you can add extra rushers when you're playing man-to-man. There's a Clemson timeout. They want to stay aggressive. Down by a score. That's into traffic and incomplete off the hands of Joe, the sophomore from Brooks, Alberta. First Canada signee for Clemson football.
That's the throw that DJ has to get better at. The back shoulder throw. You've got big receivers. They have big-bodied receivers that aren't going to run away from people, but that ball has to be placed better. It has to be thrown outside, away from the defender, so your receiver has the best chance at making the catch. That's an area that he still needs great improvement on.
Uyunglele 9 for 20, but with a couple of crucial drops, including one that would have been a long touchdown. They go to the run to Kobe Pace on 3rd down and 12. He did not get the first down. And it doesn't look like either coach is going to stop the clock. They're content to go to halftime. Dabo Swinney's defense gave up 195 yards in the second quarter as the game tilted in favor of the Panthers. Last 2 drives, Pitt went 90 yards and 76 yards. Pickett 17 for 29 for 2 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in the country. Here's Molly McGrath.
Coach, some crucial mistakes in that first half. How will you address that in the locker room?
Well, what I said before the game, the routine plays, and then we got to make the competitive plays, and we've had them there the whole half. We've just dropped balls, missed opportunities, and then really poor 2-minute defense. Critical penalty, kind of a discipline play. We overcame the PI, but that was a penalty, and then a bust for a touchdown on the play before the touchdown throw, the big throwback. So a couple, defense has played great outside about 3 plays, but offensively it's there. We just got to, sooner or later, we got to grow up and make those plays.
All right, thank you, Coach.
And it's exactly what he talked to us about this week. It's just more of the same on the offensive side of the ball. At the half, it's Pitt 14, Clemson 7. Now to the studio for the Lexus halftime report. Here's Matt.
Sean McDonough, thank you. We do begin.
You're watching college football presented by Papa John's. This is the ACC on ESPN. From Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, where the sun has broken through the clouds for the first time today. And where Pittsburgh, with 14 points in the second quarter, has taken a 14-7 lead on Clemson into the third quarter. Ben Sauls kicks off for the Panthers. Will Shipley won't try to bring it back. And let's take a look at who's making big moves today, brought to you by SoFi.
Well, it's a game of matchups. Jordan Addison against the safety Nolan Turner. Turner's a good football player, but a little overmatched, especially with a perfect throw. And then the other touchdown, Taysir Mack working on a freshman linebacker. This is a mismatch. Again, by formation, you find the matchups. The matchups that's what happens in the NFL. Well, Pitt's got a former NFL offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, and a future NFL quarterback in Kenny Pickett, and they're playing the same game today.
Mark Whipple coached in the NFL with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Cleveland. First play from scrimmage of the second half. It's Kobe Pace out to the 31-yard line, a gain of 6. Halftime stats brought to you by PlayStation. 88 passing yards for Clemson, but you think about that big drop by Shipley, that would have been a long touchdown.
And the third downs, I mean, that's the clear advantage for Pitt, especially late in that second quarter when they really started to make their moves. 6 of 11 against this very stout Clemson defense.
It is now correct, 14:49. Clock will start on my signal.
DJ Uiagalelei, 9 for 20 for 88 yards. You saw the drops were a problem. No touchdowns, 1 interception. He rushed for 31 yards, averaged 6.2 per carry. Here's Pace, did well to stay on his feet and reach the 40 with a Tigers first down, tripped up by Deslin Alexander.
Nice start to the third quarter here. A couple quick, easy passes, a couple nice runs. Clemson get a good 1-2 punch with Kobe Pace and Will Shipley. Of course, Maffa had the first touchdown of the game, the other freshman running back.
Uiagalelei keeps. And he lost the football on the tackle. And it looks like Joe got it back after it bounced past a couple of Pittsburgh Panthers. Kalijah Cansey knocked it free from Uiagalelei, and a big break for the Tigers that they got it back.
Yeah, the reason that Joe got it back is because Pitt was trying to scoop and score. The ball's going to get stripped out cleanly by Cansey. And there's 2 defenders that tried to pick it up. Hallett and the other safety, Brandon Hill, wanted to pick it up and run with it instead of just recovering it. And Joe was able to come in from behind him and secure the football.
Clemson did not turn it over in either their previous 2 games against Boston College and Syracuse. Pace going nowhere, thrown back by Haba Baldonado.
You know, an interesting number, though, about this Clemson offense. They've only had 2 fumbles that they've lost this year, but that's the 15th time they've fumbled, where they actually put it on the ground but didn't lose it. They were very lucky they didn't lose that one.
So nothing there on second and short. Sets up 3rd down and 3. You saw in the PlayStation stats, the Tigers are 1 for 6 on 3rd down. Uiagalelei over the middle, caught, and it looked to be enough for the first down. It will be on the spot. Justin Ross to the 49-yard line of Pittsburgh.
It's a tight throw and a tight window. Justin Ross on the crossing route, knows he's going to get hit. It's good coverage by the corner, Damari Mathis, and DJ put it on him for the first down.
Again, 20.
Pace ahead for a couple. Of course, this has to be an emotional day, you would think, Todd, for Justin Ross. He's back in Pittsburgh, where he had spinal surgery the summer of 2020, missed all of last season. They thought it might be a career-ending fusion situation for him. His surgeon Dr. David Okonkwo is here today. That's a special memory for Justin Ross. Came here to have surgery done by one of the best in the country, and obviously,
oh my goodness,
the pitch is picked off, and it's going to be a touchdown for Servassier Dennis.
This guy has a nose for the football. Now he's coming just on a run blitz, but he runs right into the path of the shovel pass, and DJ Uiagalelei just throws it right to him. But Servassier, he does that. I mean, he is around the football. He's a playmaker, and that was as big a play as this football game has seen.
Well, they survived the Uiagalelei fumble, but it didn't take much longer before they did turn it over. 50-yard return by Servassier Dennis, officially an interception. The second thrown by Uiagalelei. Servassier Dennis, junior from Syracuse, New York. 21-7 Pitt. Well, you saw just as we went to break, Servassier Dennis summoned someone down to the railing to give her the ball. That's his mother, Corliss, who during the TV commercial was in tears. Here's Will Shipley. Nice return for Clemson to the 30. Mrs. Dennis was a 10-year member of the United States Army. Servassier's dad, Cervantes, 12 years in the Army. And there was a period back in 2003 where Mrs. Dennis and Servassier thought they had lost her husband and Servassier's dad. They received word that he had been killed in the line of duty while in Kuwait. Turns out he was shot and injured, but he had not died. But for about a week, they thought he had passed away. Here's Tyson Pumachan, who's in at quarterback now, taking over for DJ Uiagalelei. Servassier Dennis very close to his parents, and what an emotional moment that was. And we thank Corliss Dennis for her service. Yeah. So I guess not surprising on the quarterback change here, Todd. Yeah. Very ineffective Uiagalelei again. Not a lot of help around him with some drop balls. Pumachan handed it off to Will Shipley. Tyson's a sophomore from Bridgeport, Connecticut, out of Avon Old Farms. Very highly recruited. We talked to Dabo Swinney last year about him. He said he's a bigger Russell Wilson.
How ironic is it at this point in the season? Two of the considered Heisman frontrunners, Spencer Rattler and DJ Uiagalelei, both find themselves on the bench. And Kenny Pickett, who wasn't even thought about really as a Heisman candidate, is emerging quickly as a top candidate.
Tough situation for Pumachan to enter. He's thrown just 10 passes all year, completed 7. Rolling away from pressure and throws short for a first down. Justin Ross the catch, and they convert on 3rd down and 6.
Right now you're just hoping that maybe he can change the mojo. Nice play there on 3rd down to get a conversion. They have not had many conversions. And you're just hoping that maybe the change can bring a spark to your offense. Right now they've got great field position, although they find themselves down 2 touchdowns after that last turnover. This is what
Pumachan keeps, runs into Pittsburgh territory, got pinballed around. That's a nifty run to the 35-yard line, and Pumachan has to be helped up. Baldonado and Brandon Hill put the hits on Pumachan at the end of that 17-yard run. The timeout has been called. There's an injured Pitt player on the field. It's Brandon Hill who was involved in that tackle. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Molly McGrath back in Heinz Field. Pittsburgh has taken a 21-7 lead over Clemson on a defensive score by Servassier Dennis. Here in the third quarter, Pittsburgh has not run a play on offense in this quarter. DJ Uiagalelei removed after his second interception. Tyson Pumachan handed it off to Will Shipley, and Pumachan off the bench has Clemson on the move.
You know, that timeout that we were just away was an injury timeout for a Pitt player, but I think it really helped Pumachan because he was slow getting up after that run, was able to go to the sideline, get some water, kind of clear the cobwebs a little bit, and come out to resume this drive.
Highly recruited player out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. And ESPN, as you saw, had him the number 8 quarterback in the country, the number 1 player in the state of Connecticut. Ross chopped down immediately. Nice tackle by A.J. Woods, who rotates in at cornerback, junior from Germantown, Maryland.
With the last third down situation that they converted, Pumachan rolled out to his left the pocket, made the nice throw on the move. See if Randy Bates, defensive coordinator, decides to go after the new quarterback here on 3rd and 4.
Shipley, far sideline, first down Clemson, as he slid by the defender and passed the line to make. Deslin Alexander made the tackle. Looked like Brandon Hill had a shot at him.
Timeout. Injured player.
And it's Deslin Alexander. Saw the Clemson trainer indicating to the Pitt medical folks that it was his left shoulder. He's their starting defensive end. Another one of those veterans, a 5th-year senior from Pompano Beach, Florida. This season, along with their contributions to universities' general scholarship funds for every field goal and extra point made, All-State will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thank you, All-State. On first down, Pumachan throwing for the end zone for Ross. And he caught it, but it looked like he was out of bounds, and he is. It's incomplete.
This was a trick formation by Clemson. That's why they came out of the huddle quickly and snapped it quickly. You can see the foot out of bounds. The throw took him there, but that was the same kind of unbalanced line that Pittsburgh uses. And they snapped it quick, but it didn't fool the Pitt defense. Just a throw too far outside by Pumachan.
Is Shipley to his left at running back. The pass too quick for Bo Collins. It surprised him and was nearly picked off by Damari Mathis.
Great pressure by John Morgan from the outside, number 6. Kind of forced that throw a little earlier than I think the receiver was anticipating it. Another third down play for Clemson's offense.
Almost midway through the quarter, the Pitt offense still has not been on the field, but this raucous crowd does not mind as the defense has scored. They're hoping they can stop the Tigers on 3rd and 10. They are in field goal range. Pumachan taken down for a 2-yard loss by Kalijah Cansey.
Cansey is a little bit undersized for a defensive tackle, but he's very twitchy. He's very quick. Watch his quickness off the ball. Gets past the center trotter. The right guard can't cut him off, and he's into the backfield.
When we spoke with Dabo Sweeney yesterday, asked him who stands out to you on the Pitt defense, he and Tony Elliott both said number 8.
He's a problem. He was a problem on that one.
42-yard field goal try by B.T. Potter is right down the middle. He's 7 out of 8 in field goals this season. And that matches his longest field goal of the year. A good job by Pumachan off the bench, and now it's time for Taste of the Town with Todd Blackledge.
Helen Monorino grew up in Poland and emigrated to the United States in 1974. 17 years after that, she opened up Pierogies Plus in what was a renovated gas station. She loves serving the comfort foods from her home, things like stuffed cabbage and haluski, which is cabbage and noodles, and of course, pierogies, the crescent-shaped tender dumplings that are filled with traditionally potatoes, but nowadays even some things like hot Italian sausage. Thank you.
Taste of the Town, welcome home.
She was adorable.
Oh, now you're even writing scripts for people. You are the best supporting actor in that instance. Only a touchback as Barden decides not to try to run it back. And my favorite part of Taste of the Town, what have we here?
Well, these are the pierogies. These are the crescent-shaped little dumplings stuffed with, I think these are the hot Italian sausage ones that, ironically, you know, historically, or you would just stuff them with potatoes. But Helen said a lot of people here in Pittsburgh said, hey, put Italian sausage in it. That'll be good for tailgate. So brought those. You can munch on those. These you can take home. These are cold. You can take those home with you on the plane and heat them up at home.
Add to my pierogi collection. Vincent Davis, the ball carrier for Pitt. That's a great food town. I mean, you probably had some tough choices.
Yeah, it is a good food town.
This is a really good food town.
But that, to me, you know, I first ate pierogies when I went to Penn State. I'd never heard of them when I lived in Ohio. Over here, there's a real strong Eastern European influence in the city of Pittsburgh, and was really happy to be able to feature Pierogies Plus and Helen and her staff.
Kenny Pickett, a long time between snaps for this Pitt offense prior to the half. Whoa! Vincent Davis weaved his way. It's almost like he did so much dancing, he danced himself to the ground there.
Faked himself out, didn't he?
Yeah, a lot of wiggle. But you wonder if he wound up wiggling himself into the grass.
Well, first of all, he got a little chip on Miles Murphy, the defensive end, on his way out, and then still made the catch.
7-yard play. 18 out of 30 now. Pickett for 225 and 2 scores. Davis ahead. And here is Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, I'm told Pitt wide receiver Jordan Addison is doubtful to return. He's still back in the locker room being evaluated for a concussion. Medical training staff tell me he started to feel symptoms of a concussion at halftime, and they think that he was injured on the play where he was tackled and the wind was knocked out of him. They say that he must have hit his head on that play, but I spoke with Pat Narduzzi. He told me he knows this will be a fourth quarter game, and he trusts that Kenny Pickett can get it done.
Without his top receiver, it's Taysir Mack, the veteran. What a beautiful throw. And he's a different looking guy than we've seen in the past. For a while he played on a very sore, very severely injured ankle, and clearly he's able to plant and throw with great velocity.
Yeah, and his presence in the pocket looks so much different this year. That was one of the areas he really wanted to work on. He's surrounded by better players, and that was a big time throw. And that was a big time hit by Goodrich.
And Jalen Barden did well to hang on. The crowd could see that one coming.
You know, we talked about this before. You see Kenny Pickett come to the sideline to get the play from Mark Whipple. They don't use signals. They don't do any kind of messaging. He likes to go over, and Mark Whipple likes to give him the play. And he doesn't just give him the play. A lot of times he gives him other information that is helpful to look for.
Pickett throws, caught. Good run after the catch. Melky Stovall to the 25-yard line.
Well, no Jordan Addison, no problem for Pitt on this drive. Melky Stovall, a transfer from Hawaii, another one of those super seniors, getting the most out of his college eligibility, and excellent work after the catch. Booth in coverage, and that inside spin was huge.
22 yards on the play, 16 after the catch. Pickett across the line of scrimmage, runs out of bounds, flag down, back behind the line of scrimmage.
Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Jake Cradle redshirt junior, and he is the youngest of the starters up there in terms of college experience. The other 4 starters are all 5th-year seniors on that Pitt offensive line.
You know, I don't think this was a hold. What happened was Cradle is right here, the right guard. He's going to be working on his man, and the center, who has nobody to block, is going to come over and hit the man. That's what knocked him to the ground. That was not a takedown by the guard. That was the center who was unblocked coming over to make help, and that's a penalty that went against Pitt. I don't think that was a hold.
Matt Austin, our referee, nodding in agreement.
Penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. First down.
I mean, you know, you can call holding on nearly every play with offensive linemen. I get that. But that was not a hold. That was the center who made it look like the guard pulled him down to the ground.
Owen Drexel is the center, backed up the All-ACC player Jimmy Morrissey the last couple of years. Now on 1st and 20. Vincent Davis wrestled down by James Skalski. He kind of hovered over him for a moment. And the tight end Gavin Bartholomew came over to tell Skalski to get off his running back.
This is the other thing that's different about this Pitt offense. They are much more confident in their running game in situations like this. They know they can throw it with Pickett.
Here's the tight end Bartholomew.
86 points.
And a late flag thrown here right at the end of the play as he was being tackled. A freshman, big guy, 6'4", 260. Had a touchdown last week at Virginia Tech, first of his career.
Foul. Illegal block below the waist, number 22. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Yeah, he knows it. Vincent Davis out there in front of the play trying to get a block back inside.
And this is big because both of these penalties have moved them back out of field goal range. At the very least, they could have an attempt to restore their 2-touchdown lead. Andre Powell is the running backs coach.
There it is right there. Penalty on Davis.
2nd and 26. Israel Abanikanda gets them back into field goal range again. Good call by Mark Whipple. They surprised Clemson with the run and a gain of 16.
Again, I think they are so much more confident, not just with the offensive line, but because of the tight ends they have. It gives them more versatility in their offense to run the football. Now the tight ends are out, and they're 4 wide receivers right now, or 5.
It certainly helps that Whipple and Pickett have had 3 years together now. They're really attached at the hip.
When he scrambles right, he throws.
Another flag down in the area where you'd expect another offensive holding call. It was completed to Shockey Jacques Louis, but there's a flag down thrown by the umpire.
Holding offense number 55. 10-yard penalty.
That one's on Marcus Minor, the left guard.
And here he is right here. It's only a 3-man rush, and Kenny Pickett, actually 4-man, steps up.
Boy.
I don't know. Kind of away from the play. I don't think his man, Miles
Murphy. There
Murphy.
it is. He's got a hold of the shirt.
Usually when your hands are inside, though, you get away with it. I mean, it's usually only called when the hands get outside, especially if a guy tries to break away and pursue the ball. Like I said, you can call holding just about every play in college or pro football.
And they have started to do just that. 3rd and 20. Again, they don't try many field goals. Abanikanda, he gets blasted at the 26.
And when we spoke with
Pat Narduzzi yesterday, and it's Skalski who's slow to get up, might be a stinger.
Timeout.
There's also an injured Pitt player. It's Abanikanda. And the crowd thinks that perhaps Jalen Phillips got away with an illegal hit as they look at the replay.
He's not a defenseless player because he's running with the football. He leads with the shoulder, but
Well, crowd thinks that should have been flagged. Let's bring in Matt Austin. What do you think, Matt?
Well, I think Todd's exactly right. He is not a defensive player because he's not down yet. The hit came in. There was a little helmet to helmet, but it wasn't crown. It was a little bit of the side of the helmet to the side of his. So he got his head out of the way. He did everything we asked him to do.
Meanwhile, you have Abanaconda slow to get up and Skowski slow to get up. Two very important players.
If Abanaconda can't continue, Pitt would be without its leading rusher and receiver, without Abanaconda and Addison for the rest of this game. So we'll see if Pat Narduzzi elects to try a field goal on 4th and 10. When we visited him yesterday, talked about how the field goal situation's a bit unsettled. Scarton is 4 for 4, but he has missed 2 extra points. They've only tried 4 field goals all season. This will be the 5th from the redshirt sophomore. He's taken over from Alex Kessman, who was a terrific 4-year kicker for Pittsburgh. And that one is good. He has an attraction to that left upright. I think Mark Whipple's still aggravated about all those penalties that wound up bogging down the drive that ends in 3. I knew this guy was good. Pat said yesterday if it's a longer field goal, they might try Ben Sauls, who's their kickoff man. But well done by Scarton, who had only attempted 1 in the last 4 games.
Kickers are a rare breed, that's for sure.
Top-ranked boxing tonight from Atlanta. The main event, Jamel Herring squares off against undefeated Shakur Stevenson for Herring's WBO junior lightweight belt. Main card starts at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes in the app. And Sunday, the countdown crew gets you started for your NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Will Shipley on the kickoff return for Clemson. Svasier Dennis took him down.
You can see why they're so excited about Will Shipley. I mean, he's got that burst. He did have the drop that would have been a touchdown. He was close to a couple long runs where he got tripped up. But you can see why they're excited about the future of this young running back.
Very highly recruited. Dabo Swinney, Tony Elliott. I think they're in really good shape at running back with Shipley, with another freshman Phil Maffa, and with the sophomore Kobe Pace. Still Tyson Pumachan on for the 2nd series. Led them to a field goal as he replaced DJ Uiagalelei on the previous possession. That's Kobe Pace ahead for 3. Uiagalelei 11 for 23 passing for 101 yards and 2 interceptions. The second on a shovel pass just gone wrong. Uiagalelei also ran for 37 yards on 6 carries. Pumachan 3 out of 5 for 23 yards passing on the last run. And the pass incomplete for Bo Collins. Kind of short-armed that catch, it seemed.
Well, Sean, you mentioned DJ Uiagalelei being benched. He's shown a lot of maturity since he's been sidelined. He's been in Tyson Pumachan's ear the entire time between series, and he's been really encouraging, talking to him, speaking very closely with him. And coaches say they've wanted to see more leadership out of DJ, and he's been very vocal on the sideline since he's been benched.
Final minute of this 3rd quarter. Critical 3rd down and 7 for Clemson. Pumachan lofts one up for grabs and incomplete. He's lucky it wasn't picked off by Eric Hallett. It was basically a punt in the general direction of a Joe.
Well, you know, that was not a good throw. Really no chance of completing that one. The play before, though, and you kind of made reference to it, the receiver's got to help him out. I mean, Bo Collins short-armed that one across the middle. That would have been a conversion on 2nd down, and they wouldn't even had to face that 3rd down play.
Melkeith Stovall back for the Spires punt. Good kick. Stovall from his own 20. And he goes down right there. Well covered by Clemson. 48-yard punt. Jack Maddox is the long snapper. Made the tackle. Time for the Aflac trivia question. Aflac. Well done, Todd. That was Todd, not a sound effect played from the truck. Pittsburgh has 9 players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Clemson has just 1. Who is it? A lot of Pittsburgh greats here today because it is their Hall of Fame weekend. We were told Dan Marino is going to be here. We don't believe that he is. Boy, has Pitt had some great players. Among those going into their Hall of Fame today, the Pitt Hall of Fame, Curtis Martin. Jackie Sherrill, the coach. You played against Jackie Sherrill. Well, should we give the folks at home time to look it up on Google, the Aflac trivia question? I guess we'll have to, because it's the end of the third quarter, and they're counting briskly in my ear. 24-10, Pittsburgh leads Clemson. Back in Pittsburgh, heading for the fourth quarter, but first let's answer the Aflac trivia question. The one Clemson player who's in the Hall of Fame, the pro football version that is, Brian Dawkins. Great defensive back, 13 seasons with the Eagles, 3 with the Broncos, 5 all-pro seasons. Part of the Hall of Fame class of 2018. Todd Blackledge's town of Canton, Ohio. Here's Rodney Hammond in at running back. They're without Abanikanda. So Hammond gets his first carry of the day. And it's a good one for a first down, a gain of 18.
It's really nice balance again. Only 96 yards rushing for Pittsburgh in the game, but it's been timely running. And this is the time of the game in the fourth quarter with the lead where you really want to lean on that run.
Hammond again. He's a freshman from Norfolk, Virginia. Molly?
Sean, Pitt will have to win this game without their lead wide receiver and running back. Israel Abanikanda is out and is in the locker room being evaluated for a concussion. And as I reported earlier, wide receiver Jordan Addison also being evaluated for a concussion.
Their 2 best skilled players around Kenny Pickett, who's having the kind of day that gets you even deeper in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy. Hammond stacked up. He's 23 for 35 for 277 and 2 touchdowns. We asked him yesterday, are you thinking at all about the Heisman? He said no. I've been asked about it a couple times. We pointed out to him, well, if you win tomorrow, you're probably going to be asked even more about it.
Yep.
He's 22-1 right now to win it in Vegas. At this time last year, excuse me, Devontae Smith was 60-1. And obviously wound up winning the Heisman. The Alabama wide receiver, Lucas Krull. Pickett's parents are happy. His dad sure does look like a guy who was an All-American linebacker at Shippensburg. Mom Casey, a standout soccer player at Kutztown State.
It's just been fun for me to watch Kenny Pickett this week on film, and I'm watching him live here. You know, we did the game last year at Clemson. He was 22 of 39, 209 yards, 4 interceptions. And he said to Pat Narduzzi, right after the Virginia Tech game, this game, Clemson, this is why I came back, to play in this game.
That was after their game last week. Hammond looks to have another first down. And you know, Todd, in some ways, that loss and that really poor performance at Clemson last year, so you look at the run by Hammond, might have helped Pickett and Pittsburgh, because had he played better in that game, he probably would have gone to the NFL draft. That was such a bad game. It certainly helped hurt his draft prospects, and it's a part of the reason that he decided to come back.
Well, again, I think as a Heisman voter, for me, my main criterion is how do guys play in the biggest games, and this is the biggest game Kenny Pickett's played in.
And how about Hammond off the bench without a carry until this drive? He is leading them right down the field. Previous 3 possessions for Pitt against Brett Venables' defense. Touchdown, touchdown, and field goal. And at the very least, they're in field goal range again.
We talked about the tight ends. Beautiful block on the end of the line by number 7, Lucas Kroll, and then a lead block by Gavin Bartholomew. And right now, Pitt on this drive just physically imposing their will on this Clemson defense.
24 points, the most scored in regulation against Clemson this year.
And of course, the penalty flag.
Holding. Offense number 57. 10-yard penalty.
Well, they've gotten just about everybody on the offensive line now. That's Gabe Hoy, the 5th-year senior from Pittsburgh, Upper St. Clair High School.
They were in the tackle over, so he was actually lined up as the left tackle with Carter Warren lined up as the tight end, and got beat on a quick first step and hooked the defender. That was a good call.
So they're back at the 25, but they have a 2-touchdown lead, and the clock is ticking here in the 4th quarter. Another flag down as Hammond goes across the 20. He's had runs on this drive that have counted of 18, 10, and 13 yards.
Illegal formation. Offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Pat Narduzzi getting a little agitated with the officiating, but he's getting closer to what he said would be a statement win for the Pitt football program in his 7th season. They're 47-35 under Narduzzi. And really, Todd, for the most part, they've won the games they're supposed to win.
Correct.
They don't win many they're not supposed to win. They did lose one that still sticks in their craw this year. They're only lost to Western Michigan. Kenny Pickett told us, I don't think I'll ever get over that. Vincent Davis for 2. They turned it over 3 times in that game and were stopped twice on 4th down. But they really believe, and Pat Narduzzi said it, we should be undefeated right now.
Yeah. But in the other part of that, the other side of that same coin is it was kind of a wake-up call for the players and realizing that, you know, we've got to focus on the details every day in practice, get better every day, and they've been better since then.
Pickett on target. Shockey Jacques Louis stays on his feet, finally stacked up at the 17, perhaps the 16-yard line.
You know, it's interesting when we talked to Kenny Pickett, we asked him about his decision to come back. He talked to his family, talked to coaches, talked to Peyton Manning. The other thing that he mentioned was not just the advice he got, but he knew the talent that Pitt had coming back, and he knew he was going to be surrounded by better talent and weapons than he was at any point in his career, and that was exciting for him as well.
And Mark Whipple told him, if you come back, you have a chance to be an all-time great at Pitt. You'll be in the Pittsburgh Hall of Fame. You'll bring your kids here someday and be recognized as such. He throws behind Stovall. And they'll send the field goal team out to try to get ahead by 3 scores for the first time today with 9.5 to go. Sam Scarton 1 for 1 today. Got a mulligan on a missed extra point on a Clemson offside penalty and made it on the 2nd try. Made it from 44 in the 3rd quarter. This is from 34, the right hash mark. The punter, Christodoulou, is the holder, and that's good. They're starting to feel it on that Pittsburgh sideline. 9.5 to go, and the Panthers are up by 17. You're watching college football presented by Papa John's. Here's a look at the Papa John's game track. Pittsburgh in command now, trying to remain undefeated in ACC play. A history-making day for Kenny Pickett, who passed Alex Van Pelt for most career completions in Pittsburgh history. Will Shipley brings the kickoff across the 25, and we send you back to Matt Berry.
Hello, Sean. Happy second half. Catching you up on things going around the country, including at the Rose Bowl. Oregon starting to look like the better team against UCLA 27-17. That one headed to the fourth quarter. Have an entertaining game between Iowa State and Oklahoma State. This moments ago, Spencer Sanders to Tamart. Watch the grab. Pokes grabbed the league back, 21-17.
Not surprising that that's been a terrific game. DJ Uiagalelei is back in now. First appearance since he turned it over with an errant shovel pass that was intercepted and returned for a touchdown in the third quarter. He's thrown 2 picks. He's on target to Justin Ross. And just like that, they're in Panther territory to the 45-yard line. Brandon Hill made the tackle. They'll go quickly to the line of scrimmage.
Really nice job by Will Shipley picking up the blitz by Servassier Dennis, allowing his quarterback to step up in the pocket and deliver the ball.
27-yard gain, 9 minutes to go. They're down by 3 scores. Threw it up for grabs for Dakari Collins, who was covered by Damari Mathis. First time they've thrown it in the direction of Dakari Collins. Pumachan back on the bench. He went 3 for 7 passing for 23 yards. He rushed twice for 15.
Obviously, Pumachan didn't get nearly as many reps in practice and preparation for this game. And now with a throw-only mentality for Clemson, they went with their starting quarterback again.
Uiagalelei. Flag comes flying in at the end of the play, intended for a Joe.
There were a couple Clemson receivers in the same area. It looked kind of confusing offensively and defensively on that play. I'd be curious to see what they end up calling. It looked like it was a miscommunication by some Clemson receivers in the same area.
Pass interference, defense, number 38. Penalty's an automatic first down. Spot of the foul.
Cam Bright, linebacker, called for the penalty.
Cam Bright working over the slot. He pushed the receiver down, and there, when he hit a Joe, the first one was okay because the ball was not thrown. The second one was a penalty because the ball was in the air.
Got his going to hit anything in his area. That's 8 Pitt penalties for 77 yards. Clemson flagged 4 times. Uiagalelei too high.
Boy.
And another flag on the play.
And another Pitt penalty. This is going to be defensive holding. I think they're going to get DeMar Mathis.
Defense number 21, holding an eligible receiver, pass across the line of scrimmage, 10-yard penalty and a first down.
Again, this coverage that Pitt plays, they are going to get their hands on you. They're going to push and grab. And a lot of times it depends how they're calling the game as to how successful they're going to be on pass defense.
9 penalties now against the Panthers, helping this drive along. Clemson moving quickly. Uiagalelei out of bounds, far sideline inside the 20.
We're just seeing some different faces out here too for Clemson.
Well, they're playing without their starting left guard, Matt Bockhorst. He's been replaced by 74 Marcus Tate, the freshman, who has played guard or tackle. Bockhorst on the sideline, right knee injury. Will Shipley once again just barely tripped up when it looked like he might get more. Cam Bright might have saved the touchdown. They're on the 6-yard line and going quickly as we approach 8 minutes to go, and Pitt leading 27-10. Great keep by Uiagalelei. Everybody in blue thought he had handed the ball off. It's a touchdown. And good for Uiagalelei. After being benched, he has the right response. It's a 6-yard touchdown run. 5 plays, 72 yards.
And watch this guy this block. This is number 9, Jake Brenningstool. He's not even on our boards. He's somewhere down the depth chart on tight end. He's in there this possession, gets a nice block and a nice play fake by DJ for the touchdown.
B.T. Potter. That drive took just 1 minute and 34 seconds. 3 Pitt penalties on that drive helped the Tigers' cause. Very much still a game here in Pittsburgh with 7:56 remaining.
ESPN College Football is delivered by the Shakaroni from Papa John's. Pizza with a purpose. Order today. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Sun setting on this beautiful day here in Pittsburgh. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. With you for every mile on the road to greatness. Goodyear, more driven.
Pittsburgh lined up anticipating an onside kick. I don't think you onside kick it here.
They do kick it deep. B.T. Potter, it'll be a touchback. Here's a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A, and they're going to change dramatically when we show them to you next week. Georgia idle. Cincinnati had a tough time at Navy, as did Oklahoma at Kansas. And the shocker, Penn State loses in 9 overtimes at home against Illinois.
Michigan State off this week, number 9. Michigan a big win at home. Those two will square off next week in East Lansing. A battle of undefeateds in the Big Ten East. That's going to be one whale of a football game.
Kenny Pickett comes out throwing with the 10-point lead under 8 to go, and it's off the hands of Melky Stovall. Trying to protect the lead, run out the clock. They did that very effectively last week at Virginia Tech. Matter of fact, Pickett threw only 1 pass in the 4th quarter last week because they were able to run the ball and run the game out.
They actually had a drive that lasted 11 minutes and 38 seconds. They didn't score, but they held the ball for almost the entire quarter.
They don't have their leading rusher, Israel Abanikanda, nor do they have their leading receiver, Jordan Addison, both in the concussion protocol. Vincent Davis tackled by fellow number 22 Trenton Simpson. Clemson could get the ball back very quickly here, having scored in just more than 1.5 minutes on their last possession.
Well, the thing you really want to avoid here if you're Kenny Pickett is a turnover. He's played turnover free today. They did have the 1 fumble by Lucas Kroll after a catch. Remember, it was 5 turnovers last year in Death Valley that really were the difference in the ball game. Got to take care of the football.
He has plenty of time. Now takes off running. Needs the 35. Dives for it. And we'll wait for the mark. First down. Nolan Turner went launching for him. They were like 2 missiles, and Pickett just did get it.
When he scrambles to his right, he throws more than he runs. When he scrambles to his left, he runs more than he throws. And this is just heroic individual effort to extend the ball past the marker with Nolan Turner in hot pursuit.
Well, he showed you the quote at the beginning of the telecast. Pickett says you have to play with an edge, and he does. Great pocket presence, excellent scrambler. Rodney Hammond, who's been key here in the 4th quarter, who's seen very little action. More than half of his 32 carries this season entering today were in their rout of New Hampshire when they won 77-7.
And every one of those first downs, like Kenny Pickett just picked up, just eats more clock off the, more time off the clock. Mark Whipple knows that. Kenny Pickett knows it, and so does Dabo Swinney.
Here we go back to the conversation about they don't signal the plays in. We asked Pickett, do you ever get tired? He said, yeah, sometimes I look at the GPS monitor at the end of the game, see how much running I did. Mark Whipple, who spent a lot of time in the NFL, believes they should go to the NFL system where the play caller can communicate right into the helmet of these college quarterbacks. One of the reasons he said he does it because teams try to steal the offensive signals, and Clemson's been alleged to be very good at that by opponents they have played throughout the years. Timeout, 5:40 to go, Pitt by 10.
Matt Berry in our college football studio is going to update you on a couple of games, starting with Iowa State, Oklahoma State. Breece Hall up the middle. Cyclones grab a 24-21 lead, 3:32 left in that game. Washington State, BYU. Max Borghi in for the touchdown. 2-point conversion, no good. BYU still up 2.
An emotional game that must be for the Washington State side. Big play here, 3rd down and 5. The Pitt offense trying to stay on the field. Now they'll use a timeout after they got to look at the Clemson defense.
First, charge timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
So 5:40 to go, Pitt by 10. We talked at the top of the telecast about a chance for Kenny Pickett to emerge into the Heisman Trophy conversation. I think he's taken a big step forward today. That's secondary to him and to the Pitt Panthers as to the result, and that's still not in the win column yet.
Yeah, I think he definitely has. I mean, at this point, win or lose, I think he's shown playing against a very talented defense on a big stage that what he's made of. You know, and he has just continued to play at the same level he's played at all season. One of the best things they've done today is convert 3rd downs, 8 of 15 at this point. Just won a big one right here at 3rd and 5.
Design run for Kenny Pickett, lunging again. Looks like he got it. And it is a 1st down for Pitt.
Designed quarterback run, a power run in between the tackles. Look at him. I mean, he's dirty. His uniform's dirty. He's wearing 2 gloves. His dad's got the crew cut. I mean, this is Pittsburgh. This is tough. Western PA, New Jersey, getting it done right here against the Clemson Tigers, the team that's been the bully on the block in the ACC for a long time.
Hammond, a tough run. And now Clemson in danger of going to 4-3. The 2 losses coming into this game, the most they've had in a season since 2014. That was the last time they lost more, I should say a regular season, the last time they lost more than 1 game in a regular season. And this is 4.5 minutes away from their 3rd loss of the season.
Tell you what, Kenny Pickett has been outstanding, but this Pitt offensive line has played a great football game. They've protected their quarterback. They've now run for 156 yards.
Hammond gets stacked up. Dabo's going to use another timeout, leaving the Tigers with 1. Also a big day off the field for the Pitt football program. They have 150 recruits here today watching this excellent performance. More great college football coming your way tonight here on ESPN. Tennessee at Alabama, and then on ABC, Ohio State and Indiana. So here's 3rd and 2 for Pittsburgh, protecting a 10-point lead on the previous 2 3rd downs on this drive. Both converted. They've both been runs by Kenny Pickett, the quarterback. This time he handed it off. Vincent Davis gets the 1st down. Thrown down by Jalen Phillips. But it goes to the 39, a gain of 6. And they continue to run out the clock. 4 minutes to go.
Here was the dive where he beat Nolan Turner, the first 3rd down conversion. Here was the design quarterback run, and then the last time he gave it to Vincent Davis. And you know, normally when you see a quarterback whose uniform looks like this, you think he must have had a miserable day, getting sacked, getting thrown around. Not Kenny Pickett. He's got a dirty uniform because of the way he plays the game and the way he's willing to run the football.
Davis straight ahead. Clemson has just 1 timeout left, and they'll use it right here with 3:25 to go.
timeout. Clemson, third. Final charge timeout.
Look at Kenny. He wants the whole offense to come over for this last timeout, the last instructions.
Let's take a look at the day for Kenny Pickett from start to finish.
Well, again, just reading the field, finding the matchups. He's got a lot of weapons. Jordan Addison, his favorite target, played well early with that touchdown. Then he had to leave the game. This was the touchdown to J.C. Mack. Again, finding the right matchups, and then when his team needed it, the tough runs. And that's the leadership and the personality and the edge that he plays with that makes guys around him want to play with him and play for him.
I think he'd be in favor of the coaches being able to speak into the helmet. Rodney Hammond. Speaking of which, what a great week plus it's going to be for the Whipple family if this goes the way it appears it will. Mark Whipple, we talked the other day, so proud of his son Spence, who's the assistant wide receiver coach for the Arizona Cardinals. You may remember that last week the Cardinals, trying to stay undefeated, went to Cleveland. Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach, also the play caller, unable to go because of COVID. So they put Spence Whipple, who never called plays before, in the NFL in charge. He had to learn how to use the coach to quarterback communication system. And what a job he did, as they scored 37 points in Cleveland in a 37-14 win. Of course, Spence is coach for his dad at UMass, and his dad is a terrific football coach, as we've seen again here today. Won a national championship at UMass as the head coach back in 1998, and now perhaps frustration for Clemson. Justin Maskell being screamed at by Dabo Sweeney.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 7, the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Kenny Pickett is signaling for victory formation now. Here's the end of the play. Yeah, hard to see what happened with Maskell. Dabo Sweeney certainly saw it, was right on their sideline. And now with a first down, Pitt may just take the knee. Yeah, and he did the little talk and the taunt, but you can't take your helmet off either. So
timeout. Pittsburgh, second charge timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
Well, uncharacteristic of Clemson.
Yeah.
You know, losing their poise, hurting themselves, and you can understand the frustration for Dabo Sweeney. Really, again, more of the same. Early in the game, they have a lead. Looks like they're going to score again on a long pass to Will Shipley. Wide open. It's going to be a touchdown. Right. He drops it, and the offense still cannot get out of its own way. They're going to score fewer than 21 points again today for the 5th straight game, 21 or fewer.
Yeah, and you know, he told us that we got a defense that keeps us in every game, but you just can't be that unbalanced. You have to have more help from your offense, and they haven't had that. And they also are facing the best quarterback and the best offense that they've seen all season. They were able to get away with it with some of the teams on their schedule, but not this Pitt Panther offensive football team led by Kenny Pickett.
So it's 5 straight games scoring 21 or fewer, the longest such streak for Clemson since 1994, when they were held to 21 or fewer in 6 consecutive games. It's going to be their first double-digit loss to a conference opponent since 2014, a loss to Georgia Tech. As we mentioned, they hadn't lost more than 1 game in any of the previous regular seasons. They will have lost 3 in this season. The only losses, 2015 to 2020 in the regular season to Pittsburgh on a walk-off field goal in Clemson, 2016 to Syracuse in 2017, and to Notre Dame at Notre Dame in that epic game last year.
And once again, what Pitt has been able to do to close this out is just hold the football. They've had it for over 4 minutes here at the end of the game, converting third downs,
and keeping the ball away from Clemson. And now the kneel down to run this thing out.
On what Pat Narduzzi described as a statement win. Trying to elevate this great program with such a awesome history that was on display fully here today on Hall of Fame weekend. And he has it. They go to 6-1 overall. They'll keep moving up. And statistically, in the college football playoff predictor by Allstate, they have the best chance of any ACC team to be included in the college football playoff. Pickett 25 for 39 for 302 and 2 touchdowns. And the runs late in the game that helped put it in the win column. And he is with Molly McGrath.
Kenny, you told me the key to winning big games is wanting it more than they do. After your last 2 performances against Clemson, how bad did you want this?
More than anything, I had this one circle when I came back. Our team played unbelievable. The defense played great. That was one of the best plays I've ever seen by Savasi Dennis. So it's a great team win.
You won this game without 2 of your best skill players in Israel Abanikanda and Jordan Addison. What was your mentality down the stretch without them?
Rodney had fresh legs, and that was something that I think we were holding him for. He came in, did a heck of a job. A true freshman coming in this kind of stage. So, hats off to him.
You said this would be a statement win for your program. What will this do for this Pitt program?
What does this mean?
Yeah, what does this mean for you guys?
It won't mean anything if we don't handle business these next couple of weeks. So, we're really going to enjoy this one. I'm going to go have a cold one, and then we'll get ready for Miami.
You hardly see a quarterback this dirty after a win. How's your body feeling? How's your body feeling?
Never better. Best I've ever felt. Yeah, good.
All right, congrats on the win.
Thanks, Molly.
And the point he made is key. Pat Narduzzi felt his team really let down after they won at Tennessee, the second game of the year. Wound up dropping the next one here to Western Michigan, but they are in firm control of the Coastal. They've been in the ACC since 2013. The only time they went to the title game was in 2018 when they played Clemson. And Kenny Pickett in that game seems like forever ago, but he was the quarterback. He went 4 for 16 for 8 yards. Right. So the 2 performances for him against Clemson prior to today, nothing to build confidence from, but he knew this was a different team on both sides in a different year. They'll party long into the night in Oakland. Kenny for Heisman picking up steam. For Todd Blackledge, Molly McGrath, and our great crew, Sean McDonough saying so long from Pittsburgh. Let's send you back to Matt Berry in the studio.
Sean